Everyone said I was the only person Sebastian had ever favored in this world. When he was chasing me, he ignored his fear of heights and went skydiving just to make me smile. After he landed, he was hospitalized for a whole month because of convulsive seizures. The day I accepted his proposal, he bought every garden rose in the city and planted them with his own hands for 3 days and 3 nights so that wherever I walked the air would be thick with their scent. At every gala, large or small, he kept me by his side, and when they teased us he would clasp my hand and declare proudly, "Gillian is my heartbeat. Without her I'll die." That was the man who, behind my back, signed a mistress contract with the college girl I'd been sponsoring. Staring at the framed contract and their flirtatious photo together, I didn't cry or make a scene. I went straight back to the office and sold every share I owned, then vanished from his world. "Alex, the company's market cap is climbing every day, and your equity stake is the lion's share. You're sure you want to sell it to me right now?" "I'm sure. Wire the cash straight to Loving Hearts Orphanage." The very first day we defined our relationship, I had made him swear he would never change his heart. If he did, I would disappear from his life forever and make him pay a price he'd never forget. That clause was the shadow my parents left me. The moment my father strayed, they dumped me at the orphanage and never came back. Now I was simply keeping the promise I'd made. Instead of heading home from the emptied office, I stopped by the bridal boutique. Sebastian, knowing I loved a Chinese-style wedding, had spent a year learning embroidery so he could stitch me a one-of-a-kind wedding gown. Looking at the almost finished dress, I felt nothing. Calmly, I told the clerk to burn it. "Cameron, the stitching on this gown is incredibly intricate. Mr. Wilder spent more than half a year on it, then put it on consignment." No need to inform him. After haggling with the clerk, I finally got home long after dark. I checked my phone, 10 p.m. Tonight was supposed to be my celebration dinner for landing a $10 million deal. Sebastian had been summoned away by a call that afternoon, promising he'd be back early to toast me. I'd pushed the start of the banquet from 5 to 8, but he still hadn't shown. I was just beginning to pack my suitcase when an unknown DM pinged me with a photo. In it, Luna wore the very same red embroidered wedding gown, her bare neck was blotched with hickeys, and she was giving the mirror a sultry selfie smirk. Behind her, helping her hold out the train, was a scarred, long-fingered hand. Unless the universe was staging a 1 in a billion prank, that hand belonged to Sebastian, because the scar across the ring finger was the mark he'd earned saving me when my horse bolted. On the way to the hospital, I'd sobbed over his bleeding hand, and he'd stroked my head with the other, trembling from pain yet still comforting me. "Gillian, at last my love for you has left a mark," he'd whispered. But now, I couldn't guess what had been on his mind when he dressed another woman in the gown he'd sewn for me, whether he'd felt the thrill of cheating or a stab of guilt for me. The memories crashed over me. Fat teardrops slid down my cheeks and splashed onto the floor. Just then Sebastian came home hugging a bouquet. He rushed in without even switching on the light and, in the half-dark, folded me into a gentle hug. "Baby Gillian, work ran late. I hurried over but they said you'd already left." I messed up. "Don't be mad." The heavy jasmine perfume clinging to him, perfume that wasn't mine, made my head throb. I didn't expose him, I simply pulled free of his arms. Feeling me withdraw, he froze. In the pale glow of the laptop screen, he finally saw the tears streaming from my eyes. With the same ring-scarred finger, he tenderly brushed my cheek, then drew me close and rubbed slow circles on my back. "What's wrong, my Gillian baby? Why are you crying so hard?" I stubbornly wiped my face and stared at him, grief locking my throat shut. "Are you mad at me? Something really did come up today. I swear from now on I'll chauffeur my Gillian to and from work myself every single day, okay?" Remembering that his something special had been helping Luna try on wedding dresses, I laughed in helpless fury. He mistook the laugh for forgiveness and produced a bouquet of my most hated flowers, roses. "Gillian, these are for you. Congratulations on the 10 million deal." I didn't take them. The day we defined our relationship, I'd told him, my mother discovered my father's affair because she found roses in their house that weren't hers. That same day I was delivered to the orphanage. Roses are the one flower I despise. I'm allergic to them, too. But right now the thrill of his tryst has short-circuited his memory. Glancing at the bouquet, he suddenly remembers and flings the roses out the door. "Gillian, work fried my brain, I almost forgot you're allergic." I'm so sorry. I'll go buy garden roses first thing tomorrow. He bends, kisses the tear track on my cheek with aching tenderness. Thinking of the mistress contract and that photo, I fight back nausea and quietly step back so his lips lose contact. Sensing how different I am tonight, he stiffens and watches me with uneasy eyes. Gillian, I messed up big time today. Look, I carved this lover's lock pendant for us. I named it Sam, from our initials. Do you like it? Seeing the delicate agate lock dangling from the chain and the tiny cuts stippling his fingers, I let him clasp it around my neck without a word. Out of his sight, the tears pour down unchecked. Sebastian, do you even remember what you promised? My brutal childhood made me fear love. I turned down every other confession. Only Sebastian, for 3 years and through every season, kept chasing me relentlessly. Learning I loved extreme sports, he studied skydiving and performed a jump on my 23rd birthday. The moment he landed, he offered me a diamond ring, then collapsed from a seizure and spent a month in the hospital. I accepted his confession the day he woke up. Later, a petty thug I'd rejected rounded up 7 buddies to abduct me. Sebastian appeared, fought them off, and nearly got stabbed through the heart. After I said yes to his proposal, he learned I loathed roses, so he bought every garden rose in the city and planted them wherever I might pass. I fretted over his thorn-scratched hands, but he'd only smile, his eyes tracking every flicker of my expression. As long as my Gillian loves it, it's all worth it. He's the one who once poured the world at my feet, and he's the one whose heart wandered away. Which version of him is real? I don't dare keep digging. I wash up, slip into the bedroom, and shut the door. He senses my gloom. A minute later he pads in with his tablet so we can binge our show together. The second the episode loads, a notification erupts. Dark Rose. Sebastian, I think I'm running a fever. I'm craving the snow fungus sweet soup you make. Will you come check on me, pretty please Tilda? He flicks it away so fast the screen blurs, throws me a guilty glance, and only exhales when he's sure my face hasn't moved. Gillian, it's past midnight. Let's sleep. You've got Wilder tomorrow. When I don't object, he kills the screen and starts our usual bedtime chatter. I play along until my breathing evens out, only then does he tiptoe to the bathroom. I hear the shower, but I also hear the fury he's trying to muffle. How many times have I told you, no messages after dark? Hold on. I'll slip out once Gillian's under for good. The words hit like broken glass in my chest. Sure enough, when he reappears he kisses my temple and murmurs something about a crisis at Wilder, then strides out without a backward glance at his sleeping fiancée. I drift to the window. Luna's under the street lamp in a white chiffon sundress, already wrapped around him. She spots me, triumph blazing in her eyes. I draw the curtains. Seconds later my burner email pings, a photo of Sebastian in the condo I lease for Luna, ladling snow fungus sweet soup into a porcelain bowl. I told him I felt awful, so here he is, big brother Sebastian to the rescue. And the soup is divine, courtesy of Gillian's training Tilda. The pictures used to come every few days, now they arrive several times a day. His stretches at home grow shorter in perfect rhythm. Once, in front of reporters, he said I was his heartbeat. Without me, he'd flatline. Now back-to-back board meetings keep him away for 72 hours straight every time. Another snapshot from Luna lands in my inbox. I never answer. I only want out of this city so the fairy tale can finish cracking apart. When I was small, Dad worshipped Mom, cooked, cleaned, shielded her from everything so she could paint sun-drenched watercolors all day. Mom married love, she told me. Then Dad started staying late, coming home after breakfast, until Mom found a bouquet of roses addressed to someone else. The day she delivered me to St. Agnes, she said through her tears, I believed in love, and love defeated me. Every man wants the newest, prettiest girl. It's not their fault, it's mine for forgetting. Now, the child she abandoned is repeating her story beat for beat. Another week of tepid limbo crawls by, until sister calls, child, there's a staggering donation from you clearing today. I book the morning flight and zip the suitcase shut. While packing I unearthed the first gift Sebastian ever gave me. Scarves were trending. He stayed up 3 nights knitting me one. Whatever the other girls have, Gillian gets times 10. I drag a fire bowl onto the terrace, flick my lighter, and drop the scarf in. The wool hisses like it's screaming as the flames bite. I'm hypnotized, don't even hear the front door. Jillian, what are you burning? I stuff the last frayed edge into the bowl before I turn. His pupils jump, something vital is slipping through his fingers, and he senses it. Found some junk cluttering the closet, I say. A tongue of fire leaps, he yanks me behind him so a spark won't kiss my skin. You little daredevil, let me handle this next time. Burns scar. I let myself rest against his chest for one final second, then paste on an obedient smile. Okay. His phone buzzes. He scans the screen, frowns, glances up sheepish. Jillian, Luna wants us to try the new hot spring place with her. Up for it. Since I'll be gone by tomorrow anyway, curiosity wins. I nod. He picks a silk pajama set for me and drives to Moonstone. Luna is already submerged, eyes closed in steamy bliss. Sebastian clears his throat, she blinks, squeals, and splashes upright. Sebastian, you're here. Luna missed you so much. He levels a warning glare. Only greeting me. Your sister-in-law came too. Her grin freezes. Under his stare she forces out a sugary, "Hi, sis," which I blank as I walk to the locker room. On my way back I pass the footbath alcove and overhear them. Sebastian, why so mean? You scared me. Behave. Another stunt like that and you'll see how nasty I can get. I crane my neck. Luna crawls onto his lap, biting his bicep with kitten teeth while he smirks. He lifts her into a private cedar tub, and they move together in steady, unmistakable rhythm. Whatever shards of him I still cherished dissolve. My mother was right, every man wants the youngest, shiniest toy. Even Sebastian. I return to the main spring and float alone under the stars until they reappear half an hour later. Red blotches dot his collarbone. I look away and meet Luna's taunting stare instead. She drops her gaze only when I refuse to blink. Silence stretches until the owner breezes in with fruit. Rowan, your crew is gorgeous. Last time you brought your girlfriend, tonight, sister? She gestures at me. Sebastian's eyes go arctic. First visit for me, you're mixing me up. The woman starts to argue. Sebastian cuts her off. Lay off the sake while you're working. You're drunk, go sleep it off. She retreats, muttering. He rubs my shoulder. Forget her, she's wasted. Looking at this man stitched together with lies, I feel nothing at all. Maybe everyone in the world knew about the sordid little circus he and Luna were running, everyone except me. Probably they were congratulating me to my face on landing such an attentive fiancé while secretly calling me the dumbest woman alive. I couldn't stand to watch the two of them trade heated glances a second longer, so I made an excuse and walked out. As soon as I got home, Luna sent her final burner email. I blocked her for good. Big sis, I'm graduating soon. Sebastian says he'll hire me straight in as his secretary. If I ask for your office, do you think he'll give it to me? That office had been a single suite. Sebastian decorated himself 3 years ago the day I joined Wilder, every detail chosen to make me feel at home no matter where I was. I told myself she could be the most charming creature on earth and he still wouldn't shove me out of my own space just to please her. But life rarely indulges my optimism. He rolled in after 10 that night, shook me out of a half-sleep, and said, "Baby, Wilder's taking on a new project tomorrow. I booked you a getaway flight, go have some fun and lie low for a while." I stared at him, clinging to the thinnest thread of hope. "This is so sudden, are you coming with me?" He stroked my hair, gave a helpless little smile. "Work's insane. Somebody's got to start saving for our future kids' college fund. Go unwind, don't worry about me." Once upon a time he would have skipped a billion-dollar pitch if it meant staying by my side. Now he could wave me off to another continent without blinking. Apparently I'd lost to Luna again. "I'll pack, you get some rest," I said. Next morning he delivered me to the terminal exactly on schedule. At the gate he even managed glimmering tears, promising he'd join me the instant the deal closed. I knew better, there would be no reunion. "Sebastian, today's our 5-year anniversary. My gift's already en route, don't forget to sign for it." The thought of a present from me had him floating on air. He refused to leave Wilder all day. While he glowed, Luna sauntered in wearing lace business casual and planted herself on his lap. "Sebastian, when can I move into Jillian's office?" He frowned, shoved her off without a second's hesitation. Didn't HR tell you what a secretary actually wears? If you can't handle the dress code, submit your resignation today. Normally, if I disappeared for half a day, he melted down. Now that my return was an open question, his temper frayed even faster. Luna rubbed her reddened knee, indignant, waiting for him to lift her up. He didn't even hear her. He was too busy refreshing my flight tracker. Anything involving me, he always micromanaged himself. Keep whining and you're out on your ass, he snapped. Luna limped behind him, jealousy flickering when she saw how obsessively he monitored my departure. Relax, there are only 30 seats total and you tucked 10 bodyguards around her, she's safer than the president. Her reassurance acted like a tranquilizer, his shoulders eased. But her smug little provocation finally tipped him over. He scooped her up, carried her into the private suite, and nailed her on the executive bed. Missing, in the process, dozens of calls from the bodyguards. Because I had never boarded that US-bound jet. I ditched the guards, hopped a rattling coach, and rode it all the way back to the county that raised me. The minute I stepped off, Sister was at the station with a cluster of kids, scanning every arrival for my face. Back at Wilder, Luna reappeared first. Spotting the string of missed calls on Sebastian's phone, she smiled. She accidentally toppled her coffee. Black liquid drowned the screen. What the hell are you doing? Sebastian stalked over, toweling himself, irritation crackling. When he saw the puddled phone, he hurled her sideways. Sorry, Sebastian, I'm such a klutz. Only then did she realize the object of his panic was the keychain I'd given him. He dabbed at the stained chain as though it were injured tissue, glowering at her between swipes. Finally the office landline rang. He snatched it, bolted downstairs. Taylor, waiting for someone? Employees streamed past reception, stunned to see their ice-cold boss beaming like a teenager. Yeah, my fiancé sent me something. Pure adoration blazed in his eyes. The staff chorused, Rowan and Cameron are perfect together, so in love it hurts. He swelled even taller under the praise. The courier arrived with an oversized crate. Sebastian's grin cracked wide open. He lugged it upstairs, sliced the tape, tore the flaps. Inside lay the hand-embroidered bridal robe he had once sewn for me. A single sheet of paper fluttered out, 2 lines only. Sebastian, returning your property. Let's call off the engagement. He froze, the message still short-circuiting in his brain. Impossible, he muttered. We're crazy about each other. She's just mad I sent her away. He dialed my number obsessively. I'd already reached the orphanage. When his call flashed, I lobbed the phone into the courtyard fountain. Ring after ring, only the robotic woman answered. The number you have dialed is powered off. Please try again later. He stood there hollowed out, the office's opulence suddenly suffocating. Then it hit him, he rang the head bodyguard. She never got on the plane and you lost her? 10 of you, are you all on lunch break? The chief stammered that nobody had picked up. Sebastian remembered he'd been busy inside Luna at the time. Get your asses to every bus station, find her or you're all fired. He told himself it had to be a prank and tore home. Employees watched their jubilant CEO storm out crimson-eyed, exchanging bewildered glances. Only Luna stayed still, triumph shining unmistakably across her face. Inside the penthouse he ransacked every room, desperate for proof I'd be back. The first thing he noticed, our massive wedding canvas no longer hung above the sofa. Everything looked almost the same except every trace of me had quietly vanished. He refused to believe it until he found the Sam pendant sitting alone on the nightstand. I'd taken only what was indisputably mine. Everything he'd given me I'd already sold for cash earmarked for the orphanage except the robe and this necklace. Too worthless to keep, too bitter to wear. I might as well give it back to him. He twisted the necklace between his fingers, grief flooding his face, and sat on the floor in a daze, turning over and over why I had suddenly stopped wanting him. Not until Luna's call rang out did he jolt awake. Sebastian, my period's starting and my stomach hurts. Tonight I still want the snow fungus sweet soup you make. Luna, get every single person at the company to the station to find Gillian. If she isn't brought back, none of you need to come back at all. The other end went blank for a moment, then quickly softened. Okay, big brother, but my tummy aches. Can I not go? I could come to your place. Don't go, then get lost. Don't come looking for me unless you're dying. Sebastian had well over 1,000 employees. That afternoon the full force rolled out, all to hunt down the missing boss lady. Pity I'd left too cleanly, no one had the faintest idea where I was headed. They swarmed like headless flies until midnight, when Sebastian finally let them go home. In the small hours he drifted back to headquarters, only to see my office blazing with light. Hope surged as he sprinted in. "Gillian, I knew you couldn't bear to throw me away." Hearing the noise, Luna stepped out of the lounge, draped in the scarlet hand-embroidered bridal robe I'd left behind. "Sebastian, I knew you hadn't eaten, so I cooked you a big tonic soup." Before she could finish, he seized her and forced her eyes to meet his. Luna dared not make a sound. In Sebastian's murderous stare she read death. "Who let you parade in Gillian's robe, flaunting yourself in Gillian's office? Luna, you think you're worthy?" Her legs buckled in terror, her whole frame shaking. "Sebastian, I'm heartbroken Gillian's gone too, but don't take it out on me." The moment he heard Gillian's name his rage flared hotter. It was all Luna's fault. If she hadn't smashed his phone he'd have known at once that Gillian had vanished. If he'd reached her in time she would have come back. Yes, blame Luna, all her fault. With that he clamped her throat, tightening until she could scarcely breathe. Feeling death near, she thrashed and clawed, shrieking his name. "Luna, you have no right to speak my name." Disgusted, he flung her aside. She crashed to the floor with a thud, the robe ripping with a harsh tear. Already at the doorway, Sebastian froze at the sound, then slowly walked back. "My Gillian hasn't even worn this robe. You ruined it. How will Gillian and I have our wedding?" Luna saw the murder in his eyes, yanked the ruined garment off, and bolted for the door. A little later she phoned, voice full of hope. "Sebastian, it's so dark and I'm scared. Could you drive me home?" He didn't answer, only sat cradling the robe in a trance. "You're right, my Gillian is terrified of the dark. Without me beside her, what will she do?" At dawn the next day, as if struck by lightning, he scrambled up from the floor. Without even washing his face, he stumbled to the edge of town to find my only best friend. Seeing Sebastian arrive in such a mess, the friend guessed at once what had happened. "Skylar, is Gillian at your place?" Skylar gave a cold snort and started to shut the door. From the start she'd warned me not to rush into anything with Sebastian. His resume was too dazzling, and dazzle draws butterflies. Back then I hadn't grasped her meaning. Now, watching him come begging, she knew he must have wronged me, otherwise my nature would never let me vanish without a word. When she tried to close the door he blocked it with his hand. The heavy slab slammed his knuckles, raising bloody welts, yet he stood as if he felt nothing, eyes fixed on Skylar. "She hasn't come. Go away." That single sentence snuffed the last spark of hope inside him. In an instant he sagged, as though even standing took more strength than he owned. Seeing him like that, Skylar spat, "Don't play the wounded lover. If you hadn't screwed up, I know Xiaoran, she'd never leave without saying goodbye." Her words woke the dreamer. Only now did he think of what had gone on between Luna and himself. Could Gillian have found out? Yet he dismissed the suspicion. He'd hidden it perfectly. There was no way she could know. "Skylar, I'm begging you, if Gillian contacts you, tell me at once, help me keep her." In the 5 years Skylar had known Sebastian, she had never seen him plead like this. After a long silence she finally gave a grudging nod. "I'll try, but I know Xiaoran, once she decides to leave, she won't come back." Returning to the orphanage felt like a storm-battered ship finally finding safe harbor. Looking at my haggard face and gloomy eyes, Sister's heart ached. For days she cooked every childhood dish I loved. Surrounded by the children and by Sister, I slowly walked out of that heartbreaking relationship. I had made up my mind. I would live here long-term and give back to the home that had raised me. That afternoon I was in the yard helping the kids pick vegetables when Sister suddenly stared at me, alarmed. "Xiaoran, a man named Sebastian just called asking if you'd been here." My heart clenched. He'd tracked me down after all. Reading my face, Sister patted my shoulder. "It's all right. I told him I didn't know you," and he hung up without a word. Seeing her worry, I sent the kids to wash the vegetables, pulled Sister aside, and laid out everything that had happened. When I finished, she was both indignant and thankful she hadn't revealed where I was. I smiled faintly. Inside, everything was crystal. "Sister, I know Sebastian, if there's even a clue to where I am, he'll come. I'll have to lie low for a while. I'm afraid the kids will be your burden again. I packed in a hurry. When the children came to see me off, their eyes were full of reluctance. Sister, will you come back? I gave an uncertain smile, climbed into the waiting car, and left without looking back. Sure enough, that evening Sister called. Less than an hour after I'd gone, Sebastian had burst in, frantic. He'd traced the large transfer from my account. Sister said Sebastian asked her to pass on a message. Gillian, selling your equity stake wasn't your fault. I've transferred the whole company. The money has been donated to the orphanage. I hope you can forgive me. We can look after these children together. The company had been his life's work, and he'd sold it just like that. He was still the same. When it came to love, he could abandon everything. Pity that once a feeling is tainted, it rots overnight. I had to hole up in a cheap motel while missing person posters flooded every street. The closest call came when he actually reached the lobby. Some whisper from his bodyguard sent him sprinting back into the rain. Out of options, I rang my best friend. The second she heard my voice, she gasped, then started crying. Gillian, that bastard Sebastian cheated on you, didn't he? I know you. If nothing had cracked, you'd never have run. I walked her through my next moves. She listened without interrupting, then spoke softly. Gillian, what really happened? 2 days ago Sebastian begged me to convince you to give him one more chance. I stayed silent and simply forwarded every photo in my burner email. When she reached the last one, she exploded. If that scumbag dares show his face here hunting for you, I'll knock every tooth down his throat. The last thing I asked was that she lure Sebastian back. Thinking Skylar knew where I was, Sebastian raced over, hope blazing in his eyes. He stepped through her door, and Skylar plus 5 gym rats pounced, beating him wordless, just as she'd warned long ago. When they finally stepped back, Sebastian lifted his swollen face, still pleading. Skylar, has Gillian come to you? Skylar didn't answer. She simply slapped him so hard the crack echoed. Remember what I told you? Betray Gillian and I'd beat you dead. In that instant Sebastian realized Gillian knew every sordid detail about Luna. Disbelief crumpled into horror and he dropped to his knees. Skylar, you have to know where Gillian is, please. She's my heartbeat. Without her I can't breathe. Skylar kicked him onto his back, sneering. Spare us the poetry. If Gillian's your heartbeat, what's Luna, your aorta? She flung the stack of printed affair photos at his chest. He frantically shuffled through them. By the last shot his soul seemed to drain out, leaving him hollow on the floor. Where did these come from? Skylar motioned the guys to drag him outside. Staring at his crumpled form, she jeered, how'd you pick such trash? She flaunted the sugar contract on your desk to your fiancé. And you, who love Gillian, noticed nothing? The memory of the support agreement lying beside his monitor made Sebastian's vision tunnel. He had warned Luna 1,000 times. Gillian must never find out. Yet the brainless girl went straight to Gillian to brag. He shot to his feet, fury blackening his face, and headed for Luna. Gillian's every tear would be repaid 1,000-fold. Before he sped off, Skylar yelled, "Stop hunting Gillian, you're not worthy." Sebastian didn't hear. The tires screamed toward Luna's apartment. Luna opened the door glowing, certain he'd come to apologize. Sebastian, are you saying sorry? It's okay, just make me snow fungus sweet soup and I'll forgive you. She met his iron grip instead. He hurled her across the room, slammed her again before she could stand, until her bones felt liquefied. Sebastian, what? It hurts. Face twisted, he closed his fingers around her throat and lifted her off the carpet. I told you, if Gillian ever learned the truth, your days were numbered. Without pause he rained alternating slaps until her world spun. You dared flaunt this in front of Gillian. Do you have any idea how much she suffered seeing those shots? Luna broke, clawing his wrists, coughing and shrieking. All you care about is her pain. What about mine? What am I to you? If she's gone, when would you ever marry me? Sebastian said nothing. He simply dialed. Then, in a voice that froze her blood, he ordered, take Luna back to her village. Keep her there. She never sets foot outside again. Sebastian, no. I clawed my way out of that dump. You can't throw me back. Ignoring her wails, he walked away. He had never planned marriage with anyone but Gillian. Luna was only a thrill to stoke jealousy. He'd meant to return from their trip and give Gillian the wedding Eastbrook would never forget, then park Luna at the company as severance. Now the idiot had shredded it all. Back home he had text traced the call I'd made from the burner. When the motel address lit the screen he cried with relief and drove through the night. I knew his tricks. I'd already tossed that phone into the bay, cutting the last thread. I joined a volunteer corps, moving from country to country, helping orphanages wherever we landed. A full year passed before I returned to Sister's home. Sister told me that after I disappeared, Sebastian moved into the orphanage as a volunteer, convinced I would circle back. He waited and waited until a week ago, when a sickness of the heart finally stopped it. Before the end he left 2 relics, the tattered hand-embroidered bridal robe and a letter. Sister said the torment twisted his handwriting so badly she couldn't read it, but I could. Gillian, Sebastian misses you. I betrayed you. I deserve this death. I'll go first and ready our next life home. In the next world let me be your heartbeat. That night I ate an extra bowl of rice, too, actually. If reincarnation exists, I intend to live long. Running into him again next round would be the worst damn luck.